Welcome back, guys, to yet another World of Warcraft video on this channel. Today we are going to be talking about 5 different ways of making gold in 9.2 and onwards for Shadowlands. The reason that I wanted to make this video is because we're getting to a point right now in the expansion where a lot of people are getting to a point where they don't really know what to do sometimes, right? What to focus on, what to find interesting, and they need some inspiration. So we are making this video for that singular purpose. Now, before we get into it, make sure you guys drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications as well. And also, tell me a little bit about how you're making gold right now down in the comments below. I'd love to know more. I'd love to talk about it. I love gold making more than you would think. But anyway, I'd love to talk about it. Drop it down in the comments below. I'm not gonna wait. You guys might have like super long things. Anyway, let's get into it. So the first one that I want to talk about, I'm going to start in a more like beginner level, easier level, and then going into harder things, okay? So what we're gonna start with is going to be gathering. Now, gathering is obviously very, very simple. All you have to do is pick up skinning, mining, what do you call it, herbalism, fishing, whatever it is that you want to do. Those are the ways that you can go about it. With fishing on Seraph Mortis, you can go for the strange goop. That is a mount specific thing. Obviously it's very rare, and at the same time you can also potentially get lucky for some progenitor essentia. Now the other thing, one that I have been doing a lot, is mining and herbalism for progenitor essentia. I will be linking this video down in the description below, but this is my video that I made that goes over how the actual farm is now with flying as well. But it is a very, very simple way, and at the moment of recording this video, you're looking at 40 to 80k an hour for gold making. So it's very simple. Gathering is one of those really easy things. Now if it goes for skinning, you can do the same thing. I made some videos on farming rares through the LFG, so you kill a rare over and over and over again, you skin it, or you can go for the 2x4 related farms that you can find in Seraph Mortis and Corphia, right? You go into your LFG, you search up custom, you type in 2x4, and at the moment, because it's very late on EU, it's a little over midnight, but you can see Corphia skinning 2x4 war mode off. So there's a couple of groups here for that specifically. So those are some of the ways that you can go. So that's kind of like the first thing that goes into the gathering part. Now, secondly, for the more beginner level stuff as well, would be simply raw gold farming and also mission tables. So the reason that I say that is because with your mission tables, you would go into the line of actually, playing multiple characters at the same time if you want to set up multiple mission tables. And obviously that is something that we have talked about a lot on this channel, and it is definitely not something that there isn't information out there about now. I've made multiple videos about it before. The main one that I did make, it's a little while ago. I can't even... Am I blind? Can I just not see it? Is that what it is? Oh, here it is. So this video specifically goes over, it's an ultimate guide to setting up the mission table, and it has all the different links for a spreadsheet, current earnings, explanation of how it works, how to farm companions, prioritizing missions, completing Shaping Fate. Now obviously completing Shaping Fate is not as important anymore because we got Seraph Mortis now, but the mission tables are a very, very steady way of making gold. At the point of my data before 9.2, I was looking at about 8,000 gold in value and also raw gold from the mission table daily. And obviously that's reputation towards the Paragon chest. It's raw gold, it's polished pet charms for pets, it's material bags, it's veiled augment runes, and also the anima that you use to send out more missions. So that would be one thing. Now the second part that goes into mission table as well, a lot of people like to add that onto it because they play multiple characters at once, would be pure gold, raw gold farming. So one of those things would be picking up weekly the Replenish Your Reservoir. If you're 80 renowned, you get 1600 gold for completing that. It is doing the specific well quest and or callings, because the callings give you a significant amount of raw gold as well. If I remember correctly, it's like 1500 to 2500 in sometimes it's a little lower in raw materials. For the Paragon chest, it goes all the way up to like 3.5k. And obviously, you only will want to do the easy ones. Don't do the ones for Corphia. Don't do the ones for the Maw. Just do the ones that are double time in the Covenant Zone specifically, and you can earn yourself a pretty penny just along the mission table. And that's it for number 2. Now, number 3 is going to be also beginner level 1. It is going to be shuffling. Now, what do I mean by shuffling if you haven't heard of it before? Well, it is going to be specifically vendor shuffling. And the reason I want to talk about that is because we're getting to a point in the expansion where a lot of the minor, smaller materials are getting lower in value. And also in the next coming weeks, that is going to start happening a lot. Now, for shuffling purposes, I actually recommend using either Manphy's spreadsheet, Penguin's spreadsheet. There's a bunch of spreadsheets out there. But Manphy's specifically is the one that we're looking at right here. Is you put in the value of your materials specifically, and then it will tell you how much you can make, which one is the best, whether or not you should vendor it or disenchant it with enchanting, or whatever, if you should ignore it, shouldn't do it. Whatever it is, all you have to do is put in the prices of the different materials you have, and then it will tell you what's up. But that is going to be it for like shuffling purposes, because shuffling, you know, if you do it actively, you can probably earn anywhere from like, I would say 15k to 30k an hour at the moment, which is pretty decent for beginner level gold making. So I would recommend vendor shuffling being a thing too, because it's very easy to get into, it's very cheap to get into, and it's very easy to sustain as well because of the fact that it uses, you know, something like Stratoclove, Desolate Leather, you know, Pallet Bones, all of the ones that we have hundreds of thousands of. But that's going to be it for number 3. Now, number 4 is going to be crafting specifically in your professions for Shadowlands. We are going to talk about specifically the Crafter's Mark ones. So the Crafter's Mark 4 and the Crafter's Mark are the first ones. Those are the ones that we're going to be talking about. That is something a lot of people have been making quite a lot of gold on ever since they got released with 9.2, and I definitely recommend that you guys get into this. Some of the previous and lower eye levels when it comes to Crafter's Marks, they still sell and they still make decent profit as well, so that is something that you can go for. Now, obviously, there's a bunch of different ways to set this up. What I recommend to your early beginnings is just starting with one profession and figuring out what the basic crafting cost is. So you go in, you see, okay, Shadowlace trousers and tailoring. How much does this cost to make? Well, 30 Stratoclove, you know, it all depends on how pricey it is. You know, it shouldn't be that much, right? 60 gold, right? Your Lightless Silk, probably 20, 30 gold each or something like that. So probably a couple hundred gold, 400 gold. And then you add your Crafter's Mark number 4 or Crafter's Mark, the first ones on top. And then you have your base crafting cost. You can post it on the auction house, hopefully for a profit. Now, obviously, it depends on your server whether or not it's going to be good. And you might have to also, you know, babysit the auctions, cancel scan them here and there to make sure that you can actually make some good gold and get some good sales. But that is one of the other things that I recommend people, specifically because it's very easy, very simple, and also pretty cheap to get into. The only thing that makes it a little pricey is the Crafter's Mark, the first ones, which are the 262s that actually go into Progenitor Essentia territory. So that's one of the reasons why that is a little more pricey. Now, actually, before we get into number 5, and I'm sorry we are going to talk about legendaries because it's a big part of Shadowlands, but before we get into it, to add another little bonus on top of number 4, I also want to mention you guys can still do consumables. So that goes into the spectral flask area, goes into, you know, the pots, the food, the gems, the enchants. There is still gold to be made when it comes to those specific consumables, and especially because people are actively buying it all over the place. Obviously, the profit margins are not as big, but if you're just starting out with gold making and you want to get into crafting, it is a very, very good place to start. I wasn't going to put it number 4 because I'm putting it number 5 because it is the most expensive, most hard to sustain, and also most intricate part of gold making when it comes to Shadowlands. It takes a lot of time to get into. It takes a lot of time to babysit and sustain. And also, if you haven't already leveled all of your legendaries, it's very, 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 very expensive to get into. But it is very good. The profits are definitely there. There's no question about it. Legendaries can make you a ton of gold. And you can see it right here if we look at my TSM. If we look at the revenue from when I was selling legendaries a week ago, you can see right here that the Shadowcast legendary sales, I mean, you know, it's pretty wild considering how many I was selling and how much I was doing. And you can see here, I was personally doing all of the legendaries. So I did, you know, obviously blacksmithing, jewel crafting, tailoring, and also did I? No, it's because leatherworking. That's what it is. And you can see I did a lot of it, and obviously there's a lot of gold to be made, but it does take quite a lot. The only reason that I'm including it is because of that reason. It's such a big part of Shadowlands, and I feel like I have to. And yeah, I mean, there are other ways to also make gold in Shadowlands. You know, there's flipping both, you know, back and forth current materials, old world materials. There's old world farming. There is, you know, there's transmog farming, all of these things. But the reason that I did not include that in this video is because they're, you know, big complex things, and if also something that doesn't necessarily mean Shadowlands specifically. So that's, you know, obviously my main focus for this video. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it helped you out to maybe you know, remember some markets, or think about maybe entering some new markets, trying something new out as we're waiting for 9.2.5 and also the new expansion. But I hope it helped you out, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel with notifications on, and make sure you drop a comment down below if you're still watching. Type in icebreakers. These are very good, so I don't know, I just looked at it. Anyway, that is going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and until the next one. See you guys.